The unexpected proposal, the warm glow of Edison bulbs cast dancing shadows across the upscale restaurant as Sarah Mitchell smoothed down her pale pink dress one last time. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she scanned the crowded dining room, searching for a face she'd never seen before. This blind date had been her co-worker's idea, a cruel joke. She suspected, though they'd insisted it was meant to help. Poor Sarah, she could still hear them whispering in the break room. 28 and still single, maybe we should set her up with someone. Their laughter had followed her down the hallway, but she'd agreed anyway. What did she have to lose? Her Friday nights were usually spent with takeout and Netflix. Curled up in her small apartment with only her cat for company, the hostess approached with a professional smile. Are you Sarah? Your party is already seated. Sarah's palms grew damp as she followed the woman through the maze of tables. The restaurant was far fancier than anywhere she usually went, crystal chandeliers, white tablecloths, and prices that would probably drain her savings account. She began to wonder just what kind of joke her co-workers had orchestrated. Then she saw him. The man rising from the corner table took her breath away, tall and broad-shouldered, with dark hair that caught the amber light and kind eyes that seemed to look right through her. He wore a navy suit that fit perfectly, suggesting wealth and success. This had to be a mistake, Sarah. His voice was warm, with just a hint of nervousness that somehow made him more approachable. Yes, she managed, accepting his offered hand. His grip was firm but gentle. I'm David Chen. It's wonderful to meet you, as he pulled out her chair. Sarah caught sight of a small figure at the table, a little girl with pigtails and a pink dress that matched Sarah's own. The child looked up with curious brown eyes and offered a shy wave. This is my daughter, Emma, David said, settling back into his seat. I hope you don't mind that I brought her. My babysitter canceled at the last minute, and I didn't want to disappoint you by rescheduling. Sarah blinked, processing this unexpected turn. Oh no, that's perfectly fine. Hi Emma, the little girl smiled, revealing a gap where her front tooth used to be. Daddy said we were meeting a princess tonight. You look like one. Heat crept up Sarah's neck. That's very sweet of you to say as the evening unfolded. Sarah found herself relaxing despite the unusual circumstances. David was nothing like she'd expected from a blind date setup, especially one arranged by her mischievous co-workers. He asked thoughtful questions about her work as a librarian, listened intently to her answers, and shared stories about his own life running a tech company. Emma chatted happily between bites of her chicken nuggets, telling Sarah about her favorite books and showing off the small pink rose she'd picked from the table's centerpiece. The little girl had an infectious laugh that filled the spaces between adult conversation. Your co-workers, David said during a lull, his expression growing thoughtful. They seemed to think this would be amusing somehow. Sarah's stomach dropped. What do you mean? When they contacted me, they made it sound like you were ... double quotes. He paused, choosing his words carefully. Like you were desperate for a date. They laughed about setting up the hopeless romantic with someone way out of her league. The words hit Sarah like cold water. Her worst fears confirmed. She felt her cheeks burn with embarrassment. Of course it had been a joke. Of course, someone like David, successful, handsome, clearly wealthy, wouldn't be genuinely interested in someone like her. I should go, she whispered, reaching for her purse. Wait, David's hand covered hers gently. Please don't leave. Why? The question came out sharper than she intended. So you can report back about how the joke went, how the pathetic librarian fell for it. David's expression grew serious. Because they were wrong about one thing. What's that? You're not out of my league. I'm out of yours. Sarah stared at him, confused. I've been on dozens of dates since my divorce, David continued, his voice quiet but steady. Dozens of women who wanted the CEO, the money, the lifestyle. Not one of them asked Emma what her favorite color was. Not one of them noticed she was nervous about meeting them. You've spent half this dinner talking to my daughter, making her laugh, treating her like she matters. Emma looked between them with wide eyes, seeming to sense the importance of the moment. I came here thinking I'd go through the motions of another disappointing evening, David said. Instead, I met someone who sees people, really sees them, someone kind and genuine and beautiful, inside and out. The restaurant seemed to quiet around them, though Sarah knew it was probably just her imagination. Her heart pounded as David reached into his jacket pocket. I know this is crazy, he said, his voice barely above a whisper. I know we just met, but sometimes you know, don't you? Sometimes you meet someone and everything just clicks into place. Sarah's breath caught as he pulled out a small velvet box. Daddy. Emma's voice was filled with excitement. Are you doing the thing you practiced in the mirror? Despite everything, Sarah laughed. David's cheeks reddened, but he smiled too. Yes, sweetheart, I'm doing the thing. He looked back at Sarah, and she saw a vulnerability in his eyes that made her chest tight. Sarah Mitchell, would you consider letting me take you on a proper second date? And a third, and maybe, if I'm very lucky, many more after that. David, she breathed. You don't have to. I'm not proposing marriage, he said quickly, though his smile suggested he might be thinking about it. I'm proposing something better. I'm proposing a chance, a real chance, between two people who might just be perfect for each other. Emma clapped her hands together. Say yes. Daddy's been sad for so long, and you make him smile, the real smile. Sarah looked at this man who had turned her world upside down in the span of 2 hours. David Chen, who could probably have anyone he wanted, was sitting in a fancy restaurant asking her plain Sarah Mitchell from the library for a chance at something real. The joke was supposed to be on her. Her co-workers had set her up expecting humiliation, expecting her to come back Monday with stories of rejection and disappointment. Instead, she'd found something she'd stopped believing in. Yes, she said softly. Yes, I'd like that very much. David's smile was radiant as he reached across the table to take her hand. Emma cheered, and several nearby diners turned to look, but Sarah didn't care. For the first time in years, she felt like she was exactly where she belonged. The joke, it seemed, was on everyone else.